If you look down at your bike's rear wheel, you're probably going to see one of three things. Either a chain and sprockets, a belt and pulleys, or a drive shaft. Each system has its own pros and cons, but which setup is best? In this video from the MC Garage, we're going to go over the three forms of final drive so you can decide for yourself. Chain, belt, or drive shaft. You would never buy a motorcycle based solely on what kind of final drive it has, but it's definitely worth knowing how the systems differ. The earliest motorcycles were all belt drive. These days, you primarily see belts on cruisers and the occasional e-bike. Compared to a chain and sprocket system, belt drive is smoother, quieter, and since it doesn't need any messy lube, it's a whole lot cleaner. And besides the occasional visual inspection, belt drive doesn't require much in the way of maintenance. Belts last a long time, too. 100,000 miles isn't out of the question for a properly maintained belt. If belts are so wonderful, why don't we see them on more bikes? Packaging and difficulty of replacement are the biggest drawbacks. Belts can't wrap as tightly as chains, so they need to be run on big pulleys that wouldn't necessarily fit on smaller bikes. And belts capable of handling superbike power would have to be unreasonably bulky. Plus, when it comes to replacing a drive belt, the process usually entails removing the swing arm. Belts also sap a lot more power than sprockets and chains, so they're not nearly as efficient. Drive shafts must be the best form of final drive, right? Riders who have them on their bikes certainly think so, and BMW has been using shaft drives since 1923. Shaft drives are low maintenance, run clean, are impervious to rain and dirt, and, barring any sort of freak failure, will last the life of the bike. Those are important benefits, but shafts are also expensive to build, they weigh a lot, and they sap a lot more power than other final drive systems. And guess what? You can forget about easy gearing changes. That brings us to the good old chain and sprockets, far and away the most common form of final drive. As with most things that are mass-produced, cost is a huge factor, and chains and sprockets are cheap to make. They're also compact, fairly durable, easy to replace, offer easy gearing changes, and are the most efficient means of power transmission. Yeah, chains require regular cleaning and lubrication, they tend to make a mess of things, they're quite a bit noisier, and they wear out much faster than belts and shafts. But you know what? Every system has its drawbacks. The biggest complaint most people have about chains is how much maintenance they require. Need a refresher on chain care? We got a video for you. Alright, that's the three types of final drive in a nutshell. That's also it for this episode of the MC Garage, but we'll have another video in 2 weeks. So, if you have a topic you want us to cover, drop it in the comments below. We'll see you next time.